Well, this is great. Very good. Thank you, Greg, and welcome everyone to our fireside chat. We don't quite have a fireside here to be cozy next to, but you might notice a fireside part of the videos that we're going to present tonight. So this is an attempt, your key three is working hard for you. We've spent the last few weeks preparing this presentation, and we're actually going to start with a video. This video is going to be available for roundtables, for individual unit presentations, etc. It'll be on our Facebook page. It'll probably be on our website. So we're trying to get a lot of information out tonight. So let's start with the video, and then we'll come back, fill in some details, and we'll take your questions. So during the video, you can't ask any questions because it's a recorded video. If you'd like to put something into chat, please do, and we'll do our best to answer everything when we get done. So let's roll that video. Hi, this is Jeff Glaze from the Western Massachusetts Council of the Boy Scouts. You know, it's time to get back going with scouting. We've been on the sidelines for a long time, and we're really itching to get going. So let's hear from one of our scout moms about what this program means to her and to her family.
Hi, my name is Kate Morrissey. I am a troop committee member with Troop 275 of East Long Meadow and also the Associate Lodge Advisor for Comtuck Lodge. I have two youths that are currently registered in the BSA. They are both Life Scouts. The BSA is a great program. As a parent, I've been able to watch my children grow from first grade up until now. They've learned valuable skills that they'll take with them for the rest of their lives. We've gone across the East Coast on trips, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Annapolis, Washington, D.C., and they've got to experience all of these places. And as a parent and a leader, I've got to experience them with them. It's been an amazing journey watching them grow over the years into young men. As a parent, I encourage other parents to look into the scouting program, do some research. It might be for your youth. There's lots of opportunities out there, various different merit badges that they can take. A little piece of each might teach them what they want to do in the future or guide them onto their path.
So we all know the value of scouting. The trick is, how do we get it back going again? 2020 was a brutal year. The COVID-19 crisis, pandemic has really taken its toll. And in addition, the Boy Scouts bankruptcy has been very tough for all of us. But we're coming out of both of those, and your council is very optimistic for the future. So what we've been working on for the last few weeks under the leadership of our professional staff and Gary Saviano is an evaluation of what's happening and how can your council help you relaunch scouting and getting going. So what we've done is we've come up with some criteria, some focus areas that we want to share with you tonight. And we're sharing these because these seem to be the most important things that we can do to help you out. We have run this by a few units, and they agree that they feel our approach is sound, and we are just here to do everything we can to make things available for you to restart, rebuild, and relaunch scouting, which is our theme for 2021. So those 6 items that we talked about start off with membership. If we don't have membership, if we don't have youth and adults, we don't have a scouting program. So we want to make sure that we support you in your ability to keep your existing members and hopefully attract new ones as we go through 2021. Camping and the outdoor experience is core to our mission, and I know that we've been on the sidelines not able to do that. So we're hoping to re-engage with camping, both short-term and long-term camping, as we roll out through the springtime. And of course, in accordance with all of the safety regulations and the rules that get handed down from the governor. Unit leadership is the help that we want to give you for your adult leadership. And you might have lost some people, God forbid you have to COVID. But if you need some help, we're here to give you some help with that. We're going to emphasize a year-round program because a robust unit has a year-round program and takes full advantage of everything that we have to support you with on the console. And of course, the fifth item is training. Training is core to our mission, and it's how we ensure the quality of scouting is carried through. So our training staff is ready, willing, and able, starting with NYLT and going through the fall and winter with all their training programs. And then, of course, sustainability is the ability for your unit to be strong enough to last for hopefully years and years to come, so that as many children as possible get a chance to enjoy scouting. So we're going to talk a little bit about these various elements and how they can be rolled out to you. But I think the main theme here is we're doing everything we can to help you make scouting successful as we restart, relaunch, and rebuild here in 2021. I'd like to introduce Joshua Hall, our Council Commissioner, who's going to get into a few more details about how this is going to work. Joshua?
Thank you, Jeff.
Roll one more slide, please.
So as part of our All In for Scouting for 2021, there is a 4-step process that we are looking to bring to everybody within the council. So step 1 is preparation, 2 is plan, 3 is execute, and 4 is evaluate. In terms of step 1 in preparation, starting this month, each unit within the council, it will be contacted by a member of the executive board or the Order of the Arrow or their unit commissioner. Somebody within the council will be reaching out to every single unit within the Western Massachusetts Council in order to check in, see how things are going, and kind of see what is needed by each of the units. And just to have a general conversation, because for some units, you've been in regular contact with people, and some maybe not so much. And we want to make sure that you know that we are here for you. We know that you're there and that we're here to help and work with you. Eventually, we come to step 2, which is the plan. So what we want to do is we want to come together and we want to work together to develop a plan that is going to work to advance each of the units. What do you need? What are the elements? Perhaps it's not so much membership, but perhaps it's the training element. Maybe it's not the training element, but maybe it's coming up with a robust calendar that allows your unit to make sure that it has what it needs in order to have a successful program. We will come together with you and we will talk about this plan, what we have available to give to you so that it can be developed. And then we move to step 3, which is to execute that plan. Take the information, work together throughout the year, and see how easy it is going to be in order to bring all of these elements together and to grow the unit as best we possibly can. I'm not necessarily going to say that it's going to be easy. It's going to take some work, it's going to take some time. But if we all come together and we bring all of our resources together, then this will work and we have the resources. And finally, once everything has concluded and we've executed all of the pieces, then we can sit down and we can evaluate what's going on. What worked? What didn't? Perhaps it needs to be completely rethought. Maybe it just needs a little change here and there. But we want to see what worked in 2021 and use that to move on to 2022. It's a 4-step program. But honestly, if you think about it, it's a 4-step program that all of us as scouts and scouters are familiar with, because it's also Journey to Excellence. It's planning out the year, it's working on making ourselves better, and it's about seeing what we need to do in order to advance forward and do the best we can to be the best unit that we can be within scouting in Western Massachusetts Council. So as Jeff mentioned, there are these 6 critical focus areas that we are looking at: membership, camp, unit leadership, year-round programs, training, and sustainability. As Jeff mentioned, 2020, pretty much a bummer year, pretty much a bummer year. And we as scouts have done everything we possibly can in order to make the best out of 2020 and now 2021. And hopefully with the plans that we come up with, we are going to be able to take what we know we can do, what we are going to be able to do, and make that into the best possible year that we can have. In terms of membership, every unit has had a real tough time recently when it comes to membership. It wasn't very easy to gain new members, especially seeing as though a lot of us couldn't get into the schools and the other places that we would go in order to have a recruitment. So we just want to let you know that we're here, we have some ideas, and when you're ready for recruitment, hopefully a spring recruitment will be possible, but also that important fall recruitment that we always do in September, October, and so on. We're ready for you. We have the flyers, we have ideas, and we're here to help you move forward with that. Camp. What can I say about camp? Every scout's dream is to go to camp. That is where everything happens. That is where the magic is at camp. And whether that's our own Horace A. Moses Scout Reservation or another camp, we love going to camp. We love seeing our friends. We love seeing the staff that's there and interacting with them. 2019 was a good year, and then 2020 was a bust. Thankfully, we had things like Camp Kinda Like It and other programs that were available to us, and we were able to camp in our own backyard and so on. But it's not the same. It's not the same as going to camp and experiencing what it's like to sleep outside in the rain and so on, and have all of those great experiences that we talk about for the rest of our days. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that camp in 2021 is going to be spectacular. It's going to be superb. It's going to be a whole new show. And it's because we understand that camp is so important. Camp is going to be available to Cub Scouts for a week, half a week, day camp, Scouts BSA, venturers, people who aren't even in scouting but may be interested in the program. Camp is open and available, and we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to go to summer camp. Unit leadership is another critical thing that we need to look at. As Jeff said, it's not been easy in retaining leaders, and hopefully, as he said, there haven't been any major problems with COVID-19 and leadership and so on. But if you need assistance, we're here. We're here to help, and we're more than willing to work with you on whatever it is that you need in order to make sure that you maintain your deep leadership and that you have all of the elements needed to run a successful troop and pack and crew and ship, with having the necessary unit committee people and so on. One thing that we really have a tendency to forget is the fact that scouting doesn't just take place from September to June when our scouts are in school. It's a year-long program, and that's what makes scouting so wonderful, that it is something that is available to us all the time. And so know that within the council, we have volunteers and we have staff that are still in the process of coming up with meaningful activities, whether it's our Nova Nights that are happening, or whether it's the Pinewood Derby, or it's summer camp, or it's Merit Badge University, whatever the activity is, they happen, and they happen all year round. And what our volunteers do is they put forward their ideas, their magic, and their time to create these. And so when you are planning out your unit's calendar, what better thing than to look at what programs are available, what is available within the General Knox District or the Metacomet District or Appalachian Trail District. What is the council doing? When's the next WOA weekend? There's something that you can put into the calendar. And a lot of this information is available far in advance. So you're able to use it for the entire year's planning. Maybe you only plan for 2 or 3 months in advance. It's still there. But know that people want to bring you the programming, and we need you in order to make that programming work. Training is another major piece to this puzzle. All scouts deserve a trained leader. Maybe it's just the basic training, maybe it's advanced training. Our scouts also want to have training so that they are part of the program and understand how scouting works as well, and to build that boy-led troop. That's what NYLT is for. Do we know about Wood Badge? What other programs are available? Training is vitally important. It helps us understand. If you're a new unit leader and you're not 100% sure what's going on, training is so important because that's where you get the information. It's there. If you want to have an in-person training, excellent. You can request training on the Western Massachusetts Council website. There are various different trainings that are going to be coming up that are already planned. If you want to take a look at that as well, that's on the council calendar. So as you're creating your year-round program, you can also look at the training elements and see what's available. Blue, NYLT. Also, keep in mind that you can go to your my.scouting page and see what training maybe you have already taken or what other training may be available to you so that you have more information at your fingertips in order to be a more well-informed leader. And lastly is sustainability. In order to be sustainable, we need to make sure that we're all in for scouting within the council and within our districts and within our units. Council makes available various different pieces, FOS presentations, popcorn, and so on. All of these pieces make sure that our units are sustainable because it gives us the opportunity to be involved and to raise funds to make sure that if a scout needs to go to camp, that there's some money there in order to make that happen. But also understand that the other 5 elements that I've just talked about and that Jeff mentioned are also all part of sustainability. It's about the fundraising and it's about the financial part, but without membership, without camp, without leadership and the program and the training, we aren't going to be able to be sustainable. So as your council commissioner, as the executive board and so on, we are here to make sure that you know what is available to you in each of these 6 different categories so that you can come together, have that conversation, and be all in for scouting in 2021. And now I'd like to hand it over to our council executive, Gary Savignano.
Thanks, Josh. My name is Gary Savignano, and it's an honor and a privilege to serve as your Scout executive. And I, along with the rest of the staff at our Scout office, are excited to help all of our scouting units relaunch scouting in 2021. As Jeff and Josh spoke about the 6 critical unit focus areas, my thoughts really came down to this is the foundation for a scouting unit. And if a scouting unit has a solid foundation, they're certainly going to thrive. So that's why we came up with those 6 specific areas, that if a unit is focusing on those areas, they're going to be more successful. So we talked at the office and with volunteers and discussed, well, how are our units doing in regards to those 6 critical areas? Well, we certainly didn't want to look at 2020 because that's not a true measure of anyone's program. So we went back to 2019, our last normal year of scouting, and looked at how our units were achieving in those 6 critical areas. Well, we have units on one end of the spectrum and the other end of the spectrum and everywhere in between, mostly towards the thriving side. But what we decided to do was kind of break it into 4 separate levels. Level 1, a Horace A. Moses unit. This is kind of our gold standard. This is where a unit is really achieving and hitting on all 6 areas of those critical focus areas. Level 2, a leading unit, achieved 5 of the 6 critical unit focus areas. Level 3, a sustaining unit, achieved at least 4 of those 6 critical unit focus areas. And level 4, an emerging unit, achieved at least 3 of those 6 critical unit focus areas. All of our units fit into one of these levels. Next slide, please. Let's talk a little bit about the incentives, because we want to reward units for really doing a good job focusing on those areas and incentivize units to perhaps do a little better. I won't read through all of these, but let me touch on a few. If you are a level 1 unit, a Horace A. Moses unit, you get 4 separate free cabin rentals. You get additional popcorn commission. You get a 12% discount from attending all Horace A. Moses Scout Reservation summer camp programs. You get to send a scout to NYLT, National Youth Leader Training, for free. You also get to send an adult leader to Wood Badge for free. These are some great incentives. Next slide, please. What does that mean for your unit? Well, let's take a look. We have an example of a 15 youth member unit, a Scouts BSA unit in this example. And for instance, the cabin rentals, that's a $680 value for free. Additional $200 in popcorn commissions. The Scout discount works out to about $48, a discount of $48 per Scout, or $720 for the week for the unit. Last year, NYLT was $395, and that's for free. So overall, your unit would receive almost $2,800 in savings and an additional $200 in commission. So almost a savings of $3,000. Next slide, please. So a Horace A. Moses unit, again, would receive $3,000 in savings and commission. A leading unit would receive almost $1,700 in savings and commission. A sustaining unit would receive $900 in savings, and an emerging unit would receive almost $500 in savings and commissions. Again, we want to reward you for doing the right things and building a strong foundation, and we want to encourage and incentivize other units for focusing on those areas as well. Jeff, I'm going to toss it back to you.
Thanks, Gary, and I hope everybody understands we are just doing everything we possibly can, including all of these great incentives, to re-engage every unit in scouting and to grow our console, hopefully, in 2021. Now, we started off with a Scout mom telling us that she loves the program. We'd like to finish with some words from an existing Scout who's also having a great time in the program. So let's roll that video.
Hello, my name is Dayton Connolly. I'm 15 years old and I am the rank of Life Scout in the Boy Scouts of America. An experience I've had in the Boy Scouts of America is I had the privilege and opportunity to go to the World Scout Jamboree at the Summit Bechtel Reserve in 2019. Something I've taken away from that experience is just learning and all about the different scouting organizations across the world and the fellowship of scouting. Some skills I have gotten from the BSA is really leadership based and character development. It's made me a better person and a better leader to my fellow scouts and to people around the world in jobs and school and what have you. A favorite merit badge of mine is probably the Emergency Preparedness Merit Badge, because it really taught me a lot about being prepared for a disaster. Like when the COVID-19 pandemic first struck, I was ready and I was prepared. And finally, one of the benefits of scouting, I think, is it shapes you as a person, and especially shapes you in the matter of what you put in is what you get out. If you put in a lot of effort into this program, you will reap so many rewards, and it is so beneficial to any person in this program.
Well, I hope you are just as inspired as I am when we look at the finished product, if you will, of all of the hard work that we put into scouting. We believe in the program. We're excited about the future. We're here to give you all of the help that we can possibly give you and help you and your unit be successful in 2021. So thank you for listening, and we look forward to talking soon. Great. So that was our pre-recorded message. We'd like to talk a little bit now more specifically about summer camp. And before he has to go on to another meeting tonight, I'm going to ask John Willimane to fill in some of the specific changes that are being made this summer with regard to our summer camp schedule. And of course, we're hoping that every unit sends a scout to NYLT, and we're hoping that every unit comes to camp. And keep in mind, we don't know the regulatory environment. We're hoping that we can have everyone sign up to go to camp. But keep in mind, for those units who have gone out of console and out of state, it might be difficult for you to travel and to get back. And God forbid, if there is an outbreak, it's much easier to pick up your scout from a local camp than it is outside of the state. So if there's ever a year to kind of support our camp and be local, this is it. But John, can you tell us a little bit about the specific changes that we're making to the program that people might be interested in?
Okay, Jeff, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you've had a chance to go to the council website and visit the page/summer camps. There's a quick banner that comes up that can take you to that page. But if you just type /summer camps, you'll see the main page. And what we're doing differently, as Joshua mentioned, is we're talking about having 4 weeks of camp, all 4 weeks of July, starting with the 4th of July and going to the 31st. And anyone in any program can come any of those weeks. And we have options for coming for a full week, $400 early bird fee. We have an option coming for half the week, either Sunday to Wednesday or Wednesday to Saturday at $225. We have a day program. And, you know, typically we think of day camp and day programs for Cub Scouts, but anyone, including Scouts BSA or venturers, can come for the day. So if you have some people who are just not comfortable with sending their youth overnight and can arrange transportation, they can come just for the day. Troops and packs and troops with boy and girl troops, if they are connected and want to share campsites, we will make those arrangements as best we can. Or maybe a troop and a pack don't want to be in the same campsite during the week, we can make that arrangement as well. We're going to be very, very flexible about that. Now, I know some of you are thinking, wait a minute, I've got Scouts BSA, and I've got Cub Scouts and maybe some venturers. And by the way, venturers, there's no special registration, just register under Scouts BSA. Because if you want to take a merit badge just to learn the skills without learning the merit badge, that's the easiest way to do that. But we will be having the program set up in such a way that we'll be able to accommodate Scouts BSA and Cub Scouts doing all of their programs and not, I mean, you'll see each other, you'll be crossing paths, but no Cub Scouts going to push out somebody from Scouts BSA or vice versa from participating in any of the areas. We'll still have merit badges available. We'll have open programs available. And one of the things that's brand new is maybe a family wants to come for a half a week or maybe a full week. and we have that option this year. They register as a family. If they have a youth who's Cub Scout age, they register as a Cub Scout. If they have, thank you, just saw the chat from Greg. He's our COVID police person. If they want to come and they have a Scout BSA youth, they can register as a Scout BSA youth, and then they can either do programs as a family or as a group. Now, COVID regulations may make some of this a little bit challenging. We may have to keep you in groups and moving, but right now we're going to be optimistic that we're going to be able to offer the program as open as we possibly can. What we do need you to do is to, as a unit, if you're planning to come to Moses, and we certainly would like you to come to Moses, especially if you can take advantage of those incentives that Gary mentioned, register soon. And registration takes putting your unit in for one of the 4 weeks or more. And if you want, you can, sorry, get distracted with the chat popping up. Just register 1 or 2 adults right now, so you pay the $100 deposit to get your campsite. We are hoping that you have some numbers of youth by March 15th and can pay the $75 deposit by then. But regardless, the early bird fees are due on May 15th. And those are the prices that I quoted. The day program will be $200. We did have to go up a little bit this year because of some of the considerations with COVID. But the main page tells you all about that registration stuff. The health forms, we have lots of campership money available. So if you cannot afford, you have some youth who can't afford to go, please fill out that application soon and get it into the council. We're really looking, in addition to the incentives, to try to help get as many youth to come to the camp as possible. Now, the other thing that we're still developing are separate pages for what exactly is happening at Scouts BSA. It's going to look a lot like what it has been, given the COVID restrictions. Cub Scout program will look very similar to what it has in the past. So you'll be able to see that on that particular page. And then we're still working on fleshing out the family page, but those will be developed soon. A leader's guide on the main page should be available very shortly, and then separate program guides on those other pages as Bob Walls and company develop those. So we hope to get those to you as quickly as possible. So I think that pretty much covers everything. Greg has corrected me on 1 or 2 things, so I think we're good.
Very good. Well, thank you, John, and have a good meeting tonight. I want to let everyone know that even though we're asking you to sign up, and yes, we'd like to get our deposits in because we need to do our planning, we have to hire staff, we've got a lot of food to buy, etc. But if something happens and camp is shut down by the state, everyone will get their deposits back. So you're going to be made whole. So don't worry about that risk. We'd rather have you let us know your intentions so that we can plan properly, rather than waiting until you really know what's going on and then trying to register at the last moment. We do actually have some out-of-council units already engaged to come. We're also hoping to have a strong year, not only for NYLT. I mean, every unit should send a scout to, at least one scout to NYLT, but if you have scouts that are older scouts and they're trying to get to their Eagle and they missed summer camp last year and they want to do a provisional week or 2, that's absolutely on the table. So provisional is we provide the adult leaders. It's an opportunity to spend time in a virtual troop, if you will, improve your relationship with other scouts and scouters, but also to really concentrate on getting your advancement done. So I am monitoring the chat, and a lot of the chat is being handled by my friend Greg Williams. If there's anyone who has any specific questions, they'd like to bring something up to the group, this would be the time to do it. Over the next week or 2, we will be rolling out a master list of every unit in the council, and hopefully coming up with the people that are going to contact you. So you should be getting a personal contact within, let's say, the next 30 days. And that's, if you'd like to have the person talk to your troop committee or to whatever else in the organization, that would be great. Even if you want us to talk to your kids, Zoom meetings can be set up, etc. But the idea is that people may not have been thinking much about scouting and might have been on the back burner because of such a tough year. But it's time to start to plan, and it's starting off with our late spring, summer planning, and then really, hopefully getting back to some level of normalcy when we get to September and we do our traditional recruiting. So there's a lot going on. I will tell you as an update on the national level, there's progress being made with regard to the bankruptcy. There was a date that all claims needed to be in was on November 6th. Those claims are in the process of being adjudicated, if you will. There are mediators in place, and settlement rules, settlement guidelines are being put out there. If anyone really wants to know about this, feel free to contact me. It's very exciting. And I'm spending an awful lot of time on the phone with lawyers and with national staff. But I will say that things look promising, that scouting is going to come out of this. It's going to be a different scouting organization at the national level. They've already announced that areas and regions are going to go away, and we will be part of a territory. In our case, our territory is all of New England and the Transatlantic Council, and this is going to start July 1st this summer. But same thing, there's going to be professionals guiding us. The key three is going to be in place at the territory level. And at the national level, there's going to be a lot of changes also. So if you're involved with that at all, there's already been a lot of layoffs. There's been a dramatic downsizing. And I think we're going to see consuls having to function more on their own, as well as working with other consuls nearby, as we have been doing. We had Camp Candelaica last year, and I think we're going to see much more of that. There's one question about Philmont. Is that going to be safe? As far as everything is right now that I know, Philmont is safe. It is key to the program. It is, and when a nonprofit goes through a bankruptcy, the core mission of the nonprofit doesn't go away. They don't go out of business per se the way a for-profit business would. And Philmont is on the list to keep, as well as all of the other high adventure places. So the office building in Texas is already gone. So there's going to be some big changes there. Kara sent in a question: how would a unit know where they stand as far as the 6 critical focus areas? That's going to be discussed with you when we contact you. So the person who comes around is going to be able to talk about specifically what you were doing in 2019, which is a long time ago, but that was our last full functioning year, if you will. And you may have been sending your kids to summer camp, and you may have been participating in popcorn, and you may have been going to all of our activities, et cetera, and that's great. So if you were, you're going to be rewarded for that. And if you weren't doing all of those things, you'll be rewarded at whatever level to give you, some help in terms of continuing to be engaged. And we hope you increase your engagement. In fact, I'm going to mention that when Gary Saviano came here, he pointed out, he said, only about a third of your units go to summer camp, and only about a third of your units actually, participate in a lot of things. What's going on with that? And I think there has been a feeling, for whatever reason, over the last bunch of years that, we do these things, but we don't do those things, and that's not part of what this unit does. And our emphasis is to really be all in. A unit that is all in to everything that we are offering is getting the most benefit out of the console, first of all, and we're making it easier for you. We're providing the program year-round for you. So you can come to WOA weekends, you can come to district and console camporees and activities and trainings, And if a unit participates in all of that and sends their scouts to NYLT and sends their leaders to Wood Badge, it really gets easier. Scouting can be a little complicated, a little bit daunting. When you move from Coving to Scouts BSA, big transition there, but it is an extremely well thought out program that is done pretty darn well in this council. So we're in hopes that this is an opportunity to relaunch and get all of our units much more involved, if not fully involved, because that's really the way to give scouting to all of the kids. Will there be incentives geared to PACs? Yes, there will. Good question, so thank you. Is there an equivalent incentive for Cub units who do not have any scouts to send YLT? Thank you, Brian, for that question. So there is not a specific equivalent to NYLT, but there will be incentives for PACs, and I'm going to let the Cub program people take the lead with that in our professional staff to roll those specifics out to you. But good question. So email all links of the presentation and et cetera to your email address. I'm not sure, Greg, if you want people to do that, or do you want people just to go to the website in order to pick up tonight's presentation and any other questions? Greg, do you want to respond to that, of how you'd like people to communicate?
Yeah, so the video today will be recorded and saved on our YouTube channel. It will be embedded in the calendar event for tonight that you can go back to, as well as Thursdays, and will be shared in our weekly e-news blast that's sent out as well. I think Gary might have some information about sending out also just some more information about the incentives in general.
Yeah, Gary, maybe you can comment. I see the chatter about the Den Chief training. That seems like a great idea. So thank you, Bill, for that. Gary, do you want to jump in on the Cub incentives?
Sure. So everyone will be mailed, every unit will be mailed a detailed, this plan, but in detail. So we kind of gave you the 20,000 foot view, but you'll be receiving the actual details after Thursday. And again, the Den Chief idea is a great idea, and one size doesn't necessarily fit all. So that's a good thought, and I think that's something that we can include and go back with our volunteers and talk over. But absolutely.
Very good. One other thing that I do want to mention is, if there is anybody that might be affiliated with your unit, or that you know of, who's looking to perhaps stay involved in scouting, but they don't necessarily want to be a unit leader any longer, etc. I know that Joshua Hall is looking for commissioners, and we really are light in our commissioner staff. And we are measured from national with regard to many things, and one of those is the number of commissioners per units, and our ratio is down on that. I'll also tell you that our penetration is down, so we are regrouping this year, and then in the fall, hopefully to able to really expand our membership. One exciting statistic about our council that you may not have heard is in terms of our female registration in Scouts BSA. Out of all 500 level units, level consoles, we are a 500 level console, which is a smaller console. But out of all of those nationwide, we're number 3 in our number of young ladies that are registered in our program. So we've been doing well there, and in hopes that continues, and that we can continue to be a leading console in terms of that participation. So for those of you who have young ladies in your unit, congratulations, and thank you for doing such a great job. I think we've answered most all of the questions that are there. Does anybody else on our panel have anything else? Joshua, would you like to jump in on anything before we close?
Well, I will certainly take the opportunity to echo what you just said, that if there are individuals who are out there who are willing and interested in working as a unit commissioner, or are interested in learning more about commissioning, by all means, reach out to me, and I would be happy to have that conversation.
Excellent. Very good. Well, we'll wrap up. There's no use taking any more of your valuable time. So thank you all for joining. And if you could prepare yourself in the way that you are accustomed for prayer, I'd like to thank you for your attendance tonight, and may the great Scoutmaster of all Scouts be with thee and me until we meet again. Good night, everyone, and have a safe week, hopefully with all the snow. Great, so now we're back live. Thank you for listening to our video. I do have a few things to add to this, add some specificity here. First of all, the summer camp changes, there's probably more changes there than anywhere else. In the past, we only had 1 week of Cub overnight camp. We're now extending that to all 4 weeks of our summer camp. We're allowing a day camp program for Cubs, and we're also allowing a day camp program for Scouts BSA. So if people are still a little hesitant because of COVID to allow their son or daughter to go to camp for the week, they can at least do the day program. We're going to be offering partial weeks, so if people can only come 2 or 3 days out of the week, that's okay. So it's much more of a program of, what kind of time can a Scout put in, and what can we do to get them to have a summer camp experience. A couple of other areas about that is, first of all, we hope that all of our units come to our camp this year. We know that some units go to other council camps, but particularly this year, because with the state regulations, it may be difficult to leave and go out of state and then have to come back in quarantine. And then, of course, if for some terrible reason a Scout does fall ill, it's much easier to pick them up from a local council camp than it is to be driving halfway across the country to get your kid. So we're really pushing hard to be as flexible as we can be. I don't have all the details of the summer camp program, but your summer camp staff, Bob Walsh, can certainly fill you in on that, and the rest of his staff. And they will be part of the teams that are making these, the different calls in the different contexts. But our job is to get as many people back re-engaged in scouting. Some units have been meeting, some units have not been meeting at all, and so we need to take the temperature, find out what's going on, and then do whatever we can to help you get back into the program. And of course, if for some reason we have to cancel camp because of the current conditions in June or July, everyone will get their deposits back. That's a promise. So, we're coming into the season when we have to hire staff, we have to hire kitchen staff, we have to place orders. There's a lot of preparation that goes into running a summer camp, and that's why we're putting the emphasis on that. The rest of our program, the trainings and the activities and all of that stuff, is common to what we normally do every year. We're just asking that as many units as possible get involved. I mean, you might as well let us make it easy for you to be running the program. We'll provide, weekends, well weekends at Moses, all kinds of advancement in camporees and activities, Pinewood Derby, and et cetera. Take advantage of that. And this is a time when units may not be as well organized or as well staffed as they used to be, and so it could be a time that you want to lean on your council a little bit, and we're happy to have you do that. So I am looking at the chat, and if anyone has questions now, please type into the chat at the bottom of your screen. It's one of the choices. It's right in the middle. It says chat, oddly enough. You click on that. It'll come up with a button, and you can type a question that you might have. I'd be happy to answer them. The man behind the curtain has been posting various different things for you. Those are links mainly from our website to tell you about the specifics. You'll notice also tonight we didn't talk very much about Cub incentives. The Cub incentives program will be similar. But whoever contacts you from the council will be able to discuss that. We'll be having, training opportunities, et cetera. But, one of the areas that we do want to push is NYLT. Every single Scout BSA unit should have a Scout at NYLT this year. And, hopefully you come to summer camp also. But NYLT is the key to your Scouts understanding the concept of a boy-led troop. If you've taken Wood Badge, they'll be speaking the same language, and that's very important. But hopefully you'll do it all. And for your Scouts that missed summer camp last summer and did not get a chance to get there as much advancement, they can certainly come with your unit. But remember, we're going to have provisional scouting at camp all 4 weeks. So if your Scout wants to come by himself or herself to camp for the week, we provide the adult leadership. And they can really concentrate on their advancement and get a lot done. So that's a great opportunity. Let's see, Joe Longo asked, how soon will this information be available for you to share with our unit? So this presentation is going up on our Facebook page and our website. Feel free to use it whenever you'd like or forward it to people. The information is going out to units. There'll be a written package that's going out that talks to them about their specific unit and where they stand, and then they'll be contacted by a member of our team, hopefully over the next 4 to 6 weeks. We're looking to try to get this all done in February and into March, so that by the time we get to the end of March, we should have a good idea of everybody's participation and involvement in upcoming trainings and things, so we can plan. Because of COVID, many of our committees have not been meeting, and our signups have not been as active. People have had to pay attention to what's going on at home, and that's the right thing to do. We're hoping that as the spring comes, we'll be able to get out and enjoy the outdoors, get back to scouting, and then of course hit it full swing by the time we get to summer camp. So, the YouTube channel, this video will be available on the YouTube channel tomorrow. So that's a good one. I'm not hearing any other questions. Let's see, Joshua or Gary, do you have anything else you'd like to add? Greg?
I have a question from Jim Waters. It says, Jeff and Gary, great presentation. 2 questions. Have the checkpoints been established? And 2, what keeps you awake at night?
Let's see, question 1, I have absolutely no idea. And
I can take that one when you're done.
And what keeps me awake is whether we're going to be, whether scouting is going to survive this. Both, and there's a serious side to that. I mean, I think we're going to come out of COVID. Our council is going to survive. We have actually gotten financial help from the PPP program and from other places. So even though we've had to cut our budget and limit things, I'm quite confident that we will survive. The National is in a bankruptcy, obviously, for a completely different reason. The bankruptcy proceedings are going along pretty much as expected. There's not much for us to do right now. We've submitted whatever information we had to submit. And basically what's happening is the bankruptcy court has assigned 3 attorneys to assess all of the different aspects, the accusations, the ability to pay, the value of the various different assets. Our council is going to be asked to participate in paying in some way for some of those damages. We have been privy to the rating system that they have for how much councils will have to give, and we are a tiny council. We have actually very few accusations from the past that we have to answer for. Actually the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the statute of limitations and the legal environment here is actually, pretty favorable to us. So we feel our exposure will be less than many, and in hopes that we can come to a settlement that we can certainly live with. It's expected to happen in the June-July timeframe if the court's on time, but this is a huge case. There are thousands and thousands of participants, obviously, in whether they are the scouting professionals, the current volunteers, all of the different, the national different volunteers at various areas. I will let you know that recently we've learned that the reorganization of national is taking place. Areas will be gone and regions will be gone as of July 1st. They'll be replaced by territories. So our area is Area 2, will be actually extinguished. And we are being thrown back into the old Area 1, which is all of New England and the Transatlantic Council, and that is going to be called Territory 11. I'm not quite sure where the numbering came from. I think it started in Texas, because that's where the Scout office is, but we will be in with all of the other councils in New England, and we will be heavily encouraged to do more collaboration with our fellow Boy Scout councils, and that's because there's going to be less support for us at the area and region level, and they're hoping that larger councils will help the the smaller ones, and that all adds that together. So Gary, do you want to answer the other half of Mr. Waters' question?
Sure. If by checkbooks or checkpoints, Jim, you mean where or which level a unit lands in, much of that information is quite easy for us. We have that handy, and we've looked at that. Like your year-round planning, for instance, that is going to be a discussion point when the volunteer calls the unit. So there may be a little movement there, but we know most of the other information and the training information we have, and that will be available to the volunteer, and the volunteer will be reaching out and having that personal conversation with the unit, and then really working to try and help support you guys in restarting. Hopefully that answers that.
And this week, Jim, I just want to let you know, you don't have to mow the lawn at camp this week, but stay tuned, because you might have to be back up there next week. Jim Waters has spent the last 25, 30 years telling me that all he wants to do when he retires is mow the lawn at Moses, and so I'm just keeping him honest, if you will. I don't see
we did get a couple questions ahead of time as well. I can start answering a few of them. One question was, what would family camp at Moses consist of? And to be honest, we're still working on some of the aspects of that. It's new for us. We're just looking at ways to try to make camp accessible to families. But the idea is that the scouts or the youth would be there with and camping with their parents, where they might feel more comfortable, particularly at this time with COVID. And the youth would be able to fully participate in the program, age appropriate Cub Scout programming or Scouts BSA programming. So the rest of how that would look, we're still working on. Another question was, are there any Zoom merit badge courses available, seeing that MBU is inactive? And yes, the MBU is run by APO out at UMass Amherst, and they're not all back on campus. So they've been working on trying to see if they're going to be able to offer a virtual plan, but that's not in place. So just giving them a little bit more time to work on that. We're considering some options, but what I have found most successful is using the search engine and putting in BSA virtual merit badges, and they are being offered throughout the country by some of the larger councils are doing quite a bit with that. And if we have something set up, we'll certainly let you know. The prices on those range from free to sometimes most are $5 or $10, but there are some more that are more expensive. And the last question was, what support can council provide for scouts interested in attaining Eagle? And I don't know if Joshua, you have any immediate thoughts on that.
So in regards to what is available in order to help scouts attain Eagle, it would depend on the specific information. Each of the 3 different districts, the district advancement and recognition chairperson has a plan for doing a Trail to Eagle seminar. They have been done in the past, and those are available if you reach out to the district advancement chairperson of the particular district. They should be ready and available at any time to do something through Zoom for a unit, or at a, if there's a group of units that are interested, there's that is available. That's the primary piece. If there are scouts that are looking for specific merit badges, Eagle required merit badges along the lines of any type of virtual merit badge requirements, citizenship or something along those lines, they can reach out to me and we can arrange that, or they can look into having the unit do something as well. I know that there are a number of units that have been working on merit badge information through Zoom, and you're able to do that in a larger group. So aside from that, not much else has changed. If there are specifics in terms of advancing towards Eagle, as I said, reach out to me. I know that over the summer and leading into the fall, one of the big questions was, what about the swimming requirements? And there have been some modifications which are posted on the council's webpage when it comes to some of the modifications for swimming, camping, and so on.
Good. Is that it, Greg? Did you have any others?
Those are the only ones I've received, and there's a question in the chat from Mr. Slogar.
And we're talking about shared registration services, and he says it seems to be slow to process applications, especially for adults. And I don't think, do we have Art on the line tonight? I don't see.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, Art, do you want to speak to that one? So would you explain the shared resources for charters and applications seems to be slow to process applications, especially for adults? And the question is from Mike Slogar.
Yes, the process is going to be slower because there are many more hands in the process now. Again, we can address some of it offline, but as we went to this, it was announced that this process was indeed going to take much more time than folks are used to, than having our own internal registrar. Again, I can discuss specifics, but we probably don't want to bog down everybody in all of that. I'll call you direct, Mike.
Okay, very good. And this is actually still a new program, so they're coming up to speed. But it does, it saves us a considerable amount of money, helps us with the hassle of doing all of that. And it's one of those things that we have to make a decision on. So hopefully it's not too painful. And I would be interested to know the expected elapsed time it should take, for instance, for an adult application, just so we can set everybody's expectations. Any other questions? Gary, Joshua, are you good? Well, listen, everyone, I want to thank you for joining. You are the people that make Scouting run, and we are your council, and you are us. So thank you for joining. Please carry this message out to your fellow unit leaders or other Scouters, and we hope to get some great news. We have started off with, we previewed this with a few units, and it was very well received. We're hoping now with this kickoff, the next 6 weeks to have a chance to get to all of our 140 units, to get them to let us know where they stand, and hopefully we'll have a firm picture of what the rest of 2021 is going to look like. So thank you for joining, and if you could prepare yourself in the manner that you are accustomed for prayer, may the great Scoutmaster of all Scouts be with thee and me until we meet again. Good night, everyone.